Okay, so you guys just saw the activity of Mr. Tranel cooking some scrambled eggs. He is at a Rancho level 5, which means that he's confused, inappropriate, but he's not really agitated yet. You'll begin to see that in the level 6 Rancho. So it's important to conduct simple activities with these patients because they have a hard time trouble with sequencing and following certain steps, and their memory and then sustained attention, which you saw in the video whenever he was going for his dog and then he thought someone was outside and then he just left randomly. And these all require verbal cues for him to come back to the task and to complete it. We provided the basics first, so we gave him the eggs, the butter, and then we put the pan on the stove. And then we gave him written instructions to follow so that he could do the rest by himself. And whenever he was asking questions, we cued him to go back to looking at the written instructions to see if he could sequence and problem solve, which is very important in this level of Rancho. You want to be able to see your client perform problem solving skills and to see if he can remember each step, or does he have to go back to the recipe to look, or back to the instructions to see what to do next. You also want to work on safety awareness especially with the burner. You could tell that, well, first off, whenever he was stirring very violently, and we gave him verbal cues, hey, grab it, and then hold it and stir. We also had to remind him of safety because he was getting too close to it, and then at the end he put his hands over the stove because his hands were cold. But if he would have touched the stove, boom, he would have been burned, and then it could have caused another injury. What else we saw was whenever he cracked the shell eggs, he just placed them on the other burner, which is another safety awareness. So we were giving him verbal cues, hey, grab the eggs and put them in the trash, which he did. There was also cross-contamination. Well, there wasn't cross-contamination, but he was asking if he was going to use the same knife that he cracked open the eggs to put on the butter on his bread, which would consider cross-contamination, which is also a health risk. So yeah, this is all about addressing his memory, giving them written instructions to follow, and using verbal cues for them to go back to the task whenever you start seeing their attention be distracted by something else. And it's important for these clients to also have a pretty quiet environment, I guess you could say, a organized environment, so that there isn't a lot of stuff going on, and to have whatever task they're doing dressed so that they can do it in a sequence, so that it would be easier for them, and give them also written instructions like I did that they can follow and go back to, just in case they get lost. But yeah, that is my client, Mr. Tranel. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, whenever you are treating clients with Rancho level 5, it's important to state your name and the date. So because a lot of these clients aren't oriented to that kind of stuff, and this will give their awareness of, okay, so today's Saturday, it's April 25th, 2020, and I am working with an occupational therapist assistant whose name is Jessie. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.